So I think we've got to unpack the research, we've got to unpack the numbers, but then we've also got to look at the economic environment of South Africa. We've got to understand that it goes a lot deeper than potentially somebody being a fan of Chiefs or Pirates or Sundowns or Royal AM, and going further than just being a fan of a specific sport, but the economic impact of how South Africans have been hit. We've all got less disposable income. And so, it could potentially cost us more money to get to the stadium, even though entrances might be free. We might be working on weekends, so we can't be going to matches. So there's a lot more factors that we've got to consider than just sort of team support and interest in something like football.
Rightfully so. I mean, it's the economic stance of the country at the moment, money in the pocket, what people are using it for. They've got to choose between a meal and a ticket at some point. Chiefs, there was particular research that came out over them. I think when I read here something about they haven't won a trophy in 8 years, but they still remain by far the people's choice.
100%. Chiefs have topped the research, and they've done that for many years. It's not just in this wave of research that we've done. They continue to remain the most supported team and the most favourite team from a South African point of view. It's the historical legacy that they've built this very strong brand, closely followed by Orlando Pirates. So the two Soweto teams really, not bringing in the trophies, but still having the fan base and having the historical fan base where they go around the country. And they play at Moses Mabhida, they play at Cape Town Stadium. The stadium is packed, and there's fans right around the country. So it's not we're not regionally based. We're not live in Cape Town, support a Cape Town team. You can live your whole life in Cape Town, never make it to Soweto, but you potentially still a Chiefs or a Pirates family.
I don't know if I'm picking up correctly here. You're saying historical fan base. Is there new supporters? Do you find that there are new young supporters to football that are still choosing Chiefs and Pirates? Because, I mean, they wouldn't know of a Chiefs win. If you're 10 years old and you're starting to support a team, the last 8 years you're now 18 and you've never seen them win a trophy, are we finding that there's new supporters, not necessarily just historic supporters, still supporting the two teams? In spite of dominance of SuperSport when they won the treble, Sundowns and what they've done over the last 10 years.
100%. When we look at social media following, and you talk about the younger fans, they'll probably find their teams on digital and social media. Chiefs are still by far the most followed team from a social media point of view, which shows you that that's where the younger fans are, on the Instagrams and the TikToks and the Twitters of the world. The interesting one with regards to Sundowns, they've done a massive amount of work in the last couple of years building their brand, and their performances on the field are second to none. When we ask fans, and we used to just ask favorite football team, and then in the last couple of years we've started asking, who's the other team that you support? So if you say Chiefs and Pirates might be your first team, who is the other team that you support? And Sundowns in that category dominates by country mile. So Sundowns as a club has definitely grown a fan base. It might still be, I've got this historic legacy that we are Chiefs family, but if you really had to ask me who's my team that I want to go and watch on a Saturday, I want to go and buy a jersey, it's potentially Sundowns. So Sundowns are dominating in that sort of second team followed category.
I wonder, because, and I said it in my opening, you heard me, Jean, I mean, I'm at the stadiums almost every weekend, whether I'm there in person or via my television set from broadcasting, I'm seeing a lot more fans. Is the research that you guys have done, is it tickets that are being sold at stadiums in comparison to seasons before that are now telling us that people aren't going to the stadiums? Because I seem to think I'm seeing a lot more.
So it's I'm not sure if your base might be COVID of empty stadiums, and now you're so excited that you're seeing 10,000, 15,000 fans at these stadiums, and we've had the F&B Stadium empty for a couple of seasons. So no, our research is not conducted via stadium attendance. Our research is conducted nationally, and it's asking South Africans, just in general, who are they supporting? What are they interested in? What are they participating in? So it's not a direct reflection of stadium attendance. And yes, there might be an increase in stadium attendance from the 10,000 to the 15,000 number or the 20,000 number even, but we're not seeing week in, week out an F&B stadium being packed, and even though Chiefs have the biggest fan base around the country.
I hear what you're saying. And I think to that point, it definitely has been some sort of improvement, but it's just not consistent and good enough for what the product is delivering in terms of, here's a huge stadium that takes 90,000 where we play our games regularly and it's not filled halfway. I see where you're going with it there. Niels, anything else that you think perhaps we need to know about what your research has uncovered?
Look, I think the international leagues is probably the one where we've got to look at the local league. We've got to look at the local teams. We've got to ask the local, owners of these clubs, how are we going to make sure that the DStv Prem is still the strongest league in South Africa, and that the fans are still going to support that above Premier League, above Champions League, above Bundesliga. We've got to constantly ask ourselves, how do we improve quality on the field? How do we improve quality of the events and the experience that we're putting on for the fans, that they're going to choose to, go to a stadium on a Saturday afternoon instead of watching an SABC match of the EPL?
What is the scope in terms of numbers of the people that you do the research on? How many people contribute for your research?
So we're constantly doing research on a quarterly basis. So we're in markets every quarter. Then it is from a sample size of 1,500 to 2,000 South Africans. It is representative of the South African population. So it is a representative sample, and in the research space, a sample size of 2,000 is more than enough for us to be able to draw proper conclusions.
I don't know, Sean. I really don't know. I'm not sure of the accuracy of the feeling of South Africans when it comes to the DStv Premiership, especially over the last 2-3 years. And 2,000 to 3,000 is a large base of people to be saying the same thing. And I mean, that's by research standards. I think you guys have hit the mark on there. But I wonder, we're going to take some calls to open to it. But thank you so much for sharing what you guys have studied over it. And we appreciate you coming on.
All good. Thanks very much.
As John Willis, and as you can completely hear, that's what they've come up with, the research. I disagree with it. I vehemently disagree with it. But you are the people that go to the stadium. You might say, I go because it's work. Even when I go, when I'm not necessarily broadcasting, you might say, yeah, Andile, but, for work purposes, you need to be updated with what's going on. But I'd love to hear from you. I mean, we see record numbers when the derby comes on. Like, if you don't buy your ticket quick, you're not going to get a derby ticket. Yes, Sundowns started saying, hey, wear yellow and come to the stadium, you can get in for free. And for the first maybe year in the Champions League, the response was okay-ish. But now you make sure that you wear your yellow and you get your ticket early. Now, when they're playing away from Tshwane, there's a lot more. The excitement that's been brought by the KZN derbies, the excitement of Mamkiza and what she brings with Royal AM, the Zungu brothers and what they bring, the traditionalists in Maritzburg United and what they used to do on Friday nights that used to get packed out. Not so much anymore. That part I'll take. Richards Bay, the Cape Town teams as well, Stellenbosch. I don't know. I would love to disagree with that, but only you can assist in helping me disagree with that. It's 6:34. Let's take a break.
Andile and Ncube, Sport Night Amplified on Metro FM. Metro. The biggest commercial radio station in South Africa. That's me. We're going nowhere. We're here to stay. We're here with you. Now and forever. Amen. Metro FM. It's a miracle. It's where you're at. This is the touchdown.
We need to document this, Playboy.
With Tebow Touch.
How you doing, Simi?
I'm good, how are you?
You gotta help me on this one.
Okay.
In Tabezigute. Table Mountain vibe.
Yes.
Far away
such
from
way
here.
that they are hiding me from Isthando Sam.
Mountains are.
Yeah, the mountains are hiding
That's some poetic. Ain't no woman has ever said that to me.
Java and Big Zulu told us how we can deal with that situation.
They got a song called Imbai.
They're saying, since mina ngathi kuney'ntaba ezikude ezingisithela isando sami, yena uzongithengela umbayimbayi.
That song is made for you.
No, it's...
I think it's made for you. I think it's made for you.
Tebow Touch. on Metro FM.
The Metro FM Music Award tickets are now available at CompuTicket and all CompuTicket outlets. Get yours now and be there to experience South Africa's biggest awards ceremony at Mbombela Stadium on the 6th of May. Tickets start from 150 rands. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023, brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. MMA 23, Black is back.
At Burger King, we call our new combos king-size combos. Why? Because Burger King's king-size combos are fit for a king and really big. Get our full-size, 100% pure beef everyday items just at a better price. So if you're really hungry, we have king-size combos perfect for you, or you and friends, or even you and the whole family. Save up to 70 Rand and get more food, more taste, and more value. Try the new king-size combos only at Burger King.
Get free accessories valued at 18,000 Rand when you pick up any robust and reliable Mahindra single cab bakkie until the 30th of April. This includes a set of alloy wheels, a fitted tow bar, and rubberizing, giving your business that extra drive to conquer any venture, no matter the road. But stock is limited, so act fast. Visit your nearest Mahindra dealer today or visit mahindra.co.za and book your test drive. T's and C's apply.
Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Black is back. Share the Jägermeister, share the love, share the Amapiano. The best Amapiano artist is brought to you by Jägermeister. The nominees for Best Amapiano Artist are Deep London and Buhle, Hamba Wena. Gaba Canal featuring George Leslie and Russell Zuma, Hila Nhlizio Yam. Gabsida Small featuring Msaki, Kusela. Dali Wonga featuring Mello and Sleazy and MJ, Abombelo. Wani Dwamos featuring Master KG, Low Sheen and Nkosazana Daughter, Sofa Slahlane. To vote, dial *120 *45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards Best Amapiano Artist, brought to you by Jägermeister. Metro FM is where you're at. Not for sales to persons under the age of 18.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
Coach Brandon Tritter of Sekhukhune United.
Coach's job, it lasts only as long as the results are favorable. Settling in one place, it's a tough decision, because settling, you have to think about the family, the kids that's at school still. My 12-year-old have changed schools 4 times in the last...
12-year-old has changed schools 4 times?
4 times in the last 3 years.
Because wherever daddy, he's a football rolling stone.
You have to think about the dogs also. Yeah.
It's hard to move with dogs.
It's hard to move.
I'm glad that you found a home that you are seemingly happy at. The contract, I think, ends in 25. Am I right?
Don't want to discuss contractual issues on air.
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go. Yeah, we gonna get them. Get connected. Yeah. Call now. 0860-002-160.
I just want to shout out a couple of people. I asked a question a little bit earlier as to that theme song that we play. Where is it from? Dear Tabby, so I'll tell you on Friday. But Dear Tabby, so FC got it right on Twitter. Who else is there? There we go. Umlungi Siwezinto Zonke got it right. Cat Lego Nax got it right. Autia Pitor Lepara got it right. And Teboho also got it right on Twitter. But some of the conversations that we've been having, Abdul Jabbar James says, Andile, I just wonder, why do players feel the need to criticize their former teams after leaving? Speaking on the clip that we played on Daniel Cardoso saying, young players don't win you a league yet. He was there for 5 years and didn't win anything. I wonder, do players not have a say when they leave? Is that what you're saying, Abdul? I'd love to hear it. And then Sesh Galagala, Utulane9 on Twitter says, quality of football, previous success of the club, certain teams playing or players, previous experience at the stadium, inclusivity of the club to the community. Some of the reasons I've seen why fans go to the stadium. It's 1840. We've had a very great conversation on the statistics. Down on a pool of quarterly, so that's 4 times a year, just 10,000 people being asked a question, which is a sample size for our country that is seen and deemed good enough, that I agree with. Let's go to Lisibe. Lisibe, talk to me.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. Woolen.
I'm okay, man. Before I talk to you, you didn't respond to my tweet, yes?
Which one?
There's something that you said before you closed the show about your friend. So I kind of missed it, but I'll wait for the response.
I'll go look for your tweet.
Andile, thank you for taking my call. You know what? I missed the conversation with the gentleman that you interviewed. Sorry, I would have loved to hear, on average, how many supporters does Chiefs support, Pirates and Sun.
Oh man, what happened there? Is Lisibe gone? Okay, Lisibe is gone. But Lisibe, here's the thing about the sort of research that gets done in that way, is that you can never, it's going to be a guesstimation of an answer if it does come. Because you can't say for sure how many they have, because you do a sample size. So they say if we're asking 10,000 people, that 10,000 people then represent the 6 million or 60 million South Africans. That's the sample size. So you can never really, then what they'll do is in the 10,000, let's say 6,000 said they support Chiefs. So how many times does 10,000 go into 60 million? Therefore, how much time is 6,000 of that? That's how they do it. So they'll give you a number based on that. It's not real numbers. Nonetheless, let's go to David out in Nguruleni. David.
Hello.
Hey, talk to me.
Okay, thank you for taking my calls, Andile. I want to first of all also question the authenticity of this average research. That one is totally, for me, it's very questionable. Firstly, if you want to tell me that a team like Sundowns that even offers free entry into the stadium cannot fill a stadium, I think that on its own, if you are saying their fan base is growing, it's a very good marketing tool for Sundowns, but in reality, it's not. And I want to go to the second factor, the economic factor, Andy. If you check the rand, I think that's the most yo-yo currency in the world currently. It's blowing hot and cold. I grew up in the army, going in the peacekeeping missions. I know in the war zones how the value of their currency were falling. I've never seen such like the rand, whereby it's falling like rapidly. There is no war in South Africa. There's no threat. That is why I say politically there is a problem in South Africa. There is a problem that should be addressed, not with this doing and so forth. The issue should be addressed to at least to stagnate the value of the rand so that people know how to budget. You cannot budget in South Africa currently. And I want to visit SAFA. SAFA is not embracing development. There is what is called VAR in the whole world. SAFA has never embraced that. We can see decisions are swung unfavorably for some teams, favorably for some. That on its own is also...
Which teams are you seeing? I mean, I'm assuming that, and I want to answer you conclusively when I do, with the questions that you've posed. Which teams are you seeing it being swung to or swung away from? I want us to speak factually.
Okay, let us be factual, my brother. I'm not a Sundowns supporter. Sundowns is the most attacking team in the PSL. For Sundowns to have 3 penalties in the whole season, while it's attacking like this, I mean, really, something is very questionable. When it comes to Chiefs players, they are aggressive on going forward. We cannot say, I want to say, the notion to say Chiefs is getting favors from the referees, for me, I'm very cautious about that.
But it's what you're saying. You can be cautious, but it's what you're saying. Let me answer you. Firstly, on the marketing tool of Mamelodi Sundowns in the stadiums, I think it was a brilliant marketing tool. And I think, what is it, 3 years? No, 3 years I think it is now, since they've started it. I don't know about you, and I'm going to get the research from them. But to me, watching at the stadiums and having been to the games, there's a lot more people that are attending those Champions League games in particular, which has always been a difficult thing for local teams because they're playing teams unknown to us and there isn't that excitement of the DStv Premiership. Let's move away from that. The socio-economic factors that you speak of, I agree with you completely. The country also plays a huge role, how healthy a country is in how healthy its sporting codes and entertainment sectors are. That's 100% correct. And as far as the last one is concerned, so a couple of weeks ago, we took it upon ourselves, after a lot of people questioning it, to have the referee, Victor Tlangwane, who we call the principal, come into studio. We looked at all 11 penalties, I think it is now, that Chiefs have gotten. And we even looked at all the 10 red cards that the opposition playing Kaizer Chiefs have received, right? And out of all of those, can I tell you that the principal only found 2 decisions to be inconsistent with what the refereeing's guide is. So I can tell you now, without fear or favor, that a lot of the penalties and red card that Chiefs have gotten in their favor have been correct.
Okay, I agree with you there. But okay, lastly, I want the corporate world, Andile, is to blame.
But do you know why? Because the corporate world is a bunch of people sitting up in their high chairs as CEOs and MDs, rightfully so, doing what they need to do. When they want to put money somewhere, they go to people like Nielsen, who we just spoke to now, whose job it is to do research, and they say, hey, can we see what the research says? And based on research like that, you're not going to get sponsorship, if that's what the research is saying. But thank you so much, David. I mean, I really enjoyed this conversation with you. I really do appreciate it. Let's move on to Dixon Gwamhlanga. Dixon.
Hi, Andile.
Hey.
If I can ask, the home venue for Chiefs is FNB, isn't it?
Yes.
The home venue for Sundowns is Loftus, isn't it?
It is.
As a broadcaster, sometimes you go to some of these games. I mean, I also attend this game, but I believe for the past 3 years or so, in terms of average, compared to FNB and Loftus, even in big games, Sundowns is averaging better than Kaizer Chiefs. The only time where Kaizer Chiefs can average better than Sundowns is when they take their game to your Mbombela, your Peter Mukaba, and your Moses Mapidas.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, because I feel like, Dixon, we're speaking things that aren't factual. There's a man that we employed on this show, on a free basis a long time ago, who does sports research as well. Ncube Ndlovu. He does factual based on numbers that he's getting from the DStv Premiership. I'm going to ask him to come on and do this particular research to say, what are the ticket sales, attendance to games looking like? So, I mean, today the time has gone already and I need to give him time to do this. So perhaps not tomorrow, Thursday is a throwback Friday. At some point, maybe early next week, I'll get Ncube Ndlovu to come on Tuesday, Timmy, Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's get Ncube to come on. And I'd love to take your call again when Ncube is here giving us the exact numbers. How's that?
Yeah, I think we should do that. Because those things of people of social media and people in the street, I don't buy it.
Yeah, because that's why people aren't investing into football, because they look at, and I can tell you now that the big bros sitting in high chairs and the boards of the big companies in this country are still very much white companies, and they look at this and they say, hey, we want to get into football, show us the numbers, and they go to Nielsen to get the numbers, and that's what comes back. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Cedric Dixon. Let's go to Ethan. Ethan is out in Brits. Oh, I think Ethan is gone there. Do we have David Agurleni? David Agurleni, the lines seem to be bugging at the moment. We've got some voice notes so that we're going to be playing. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we still need to go to France, eh, Timmy? Let's take a break quickly.
At work, at play, online and on the air. Watch out! Check us out at Metro FM SA on all the socials. Metro FM, it's where you're at. This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
Cecilia Mulekwane, President of Netball South Africa. Are you seeing an improvement in how South Africans are responding to this World Cup that you're hosting?
They are responding, and I want to say thank you to all South Africans who are really rallying behind us and saying to us, you know, women, we are there for you and we want to support you. Because without the South Africans and the support of everybody, we won't be able to host this World Cup the way we want to. So thank you to everybody who's playing a part in it, and the media is doing very well. We have to compliment them in what they're doing now. I mean, netball is everywhere. You're talking about netball. Just keep on doing it, and let's keep on promoting the sport. Those who are wearing Netball Friday t-shirts, thank you so much, and keep on wearing that Netball Friday.
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sports. Let's go. We gon' get them. Get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
Good evening, Andile. Upule Maliwa, Ikraivo in Cape Town. I think for me, Andile, it's only two things: a quality of players and a quality of football that we're playing in South Africa. Thank you.
Exe Andile, ma Jimmy Maga, the busy con of Motsepe, la Paralaga, la Paralabo, la Para. Andile, na ke bone di supportera di stadium. Ke neng la mafello salawa utlwa ba di ticket di sold out. Ka tsona di small game seats. It's only Chiefs and Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. So now I don't see the difference. Even Mamelodi Sundowns had already small teams. I tell the stadium Andile. Jimmy Maga, the busy con of Motsepe, dango.
Hi Andile, this is Kiora Pese from Mabupane. The research is a bit misleading, you know. I think the wording should have been favorite teams and not supported. Because if you say a team like Kaizer Chiefs, the most supported, but you look at FNB, attendance is very poor. So it's the most popular team, but in terms of support, no, it's not well supported. In terms of numbers at stadiums, you go to Loftus, numbers you can see physically, there's more people there. Go to Orlando, the number has improved as well, you know. So the research should have said the most popular, but not supported.
You know, the supporters you're talking about, Sundowns supporters. The last time I checked, Sundowns had 57 supporters, but the recent latest is 57,000 supporters. Well, I understand they are bought with free tickets by Motsepe, and the free meals they get on Motsepe Foundation, party with our people. Watch Kaizer Chiefs play, then you'll see supporters, because Kaizer Chiefs is the biggest team in Africa for me. And another thing is that the song you're playing is
Hey! I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. And I think you're right. I agree with you. When Sundown started, I mean, Christmas with Our People, which is what they do, which is a concert, and all the things that they're doing, is marketing in order to garner up support. And I think I'm seeing it pay off. But maybe that's just me. Like I said, I'd love to hear from you. And I'm hearing so many of you coming on. And it's great to hear this. But we need to quickly cut to Italy because our man is ready for us. Took a while to get here, but he's ready for us. He's been staying in the lap of luxury out in Italy since arriving from France. But he's a regular here on the show. We love having him. Omar Akaktuba is a UEFA journalist who joins us to speak all things Champions League. The matches yesterday in the Champions League saw Chelsea crash out, of course, beaten by Real Madrid. 2-0 was the score yesterday, impounding on the 2-0 the game before. Napoli and AC Milan, they came to 1-1, meaning that AC Milan go through on aggregate. A game that hurt my next guest very much, Omar Kaktukba, because he's staying in the lap of luxury with a player out in Italy at the moment. He's on his way as we speak to watch the match, Inter versus Benfica. Omar, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm terribly sorry about the results of yesterday's match. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a great evening.
Yes, thank you very much. Good to be on the show again. Not really a good evening, but you know, it's football. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We had a meeting after the game. We had a drink, we had drinks. We chatted till 4 a.m. So it's something that is used to. As a footballer, you must be used to winning and losing. And to have reached the quarterfinal for Napoli is a success already. This is the first time in their entire history. So their biggest success is winning the Scudetto. They've done that already, and that makes them very happy.
And of course, we're speaking about Nigerian professional footballer who plays his football for Napoli, Victor James Osimhen, who is Omar's a good friend. He was a guest at the stadium.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something magical about being at that stadium in Napoli, supported by all those, hearing the UEFA Champions League music go on in the quarterfinals, and then seeing the name Diego Maradona Stadium.
It's incredible. I've been to many stadiums across Europe. The Diego Armando Maradona Stadium is special. The Napoli people are special. They're very passionate. They're very emotional. They have loud voices. Inside that stadium, when the Champions League anthem goes on, and then you hear a loud roar from the fans after the anthem stops, you get goosebumps. I get it every time I'm in that stadium. It's always new. It always feels special. That's how special it is to be in that stadium. The atmosphere in and around the stadium is unique. It's incredible.
Well, you're going to be doing the same tonight. You're on your way as we speak to go watch today's clash. Yes. It's a big one again this evening. There's two matches. It's Bayern Munich that take on Manchester City. Firstly, let's start with that game.
Yes.
Is it done and dusted? Looking at the last results, can we just proclaim that Man City are through to the semis?
Of course, I can put my money on that. Man City are through to the semi. Because obviously Bayern are not in a good shape. There's crisis in the team. Sadio Mane, they fined 350,000 euros, a record fine for hitting Leroy Sané in the dressing room. The team is shaky. Thomas Tuchel is yet to have a complete grasp of the team. He's been out of the German Cup. He's almost out of the Champions League. I think Bayern is not in a good shape, and this is the very, very best time for Man City to play them. And with 3 goals lead, I don't see how Bayern can come back from this one.
Omar, you owe me time, man. You know, you were driving for so long that we didn't have enough time to even get into the conversations. And you know we love chatting to you here. But let's get to the last one very quickly. Inter versus Benfica. What do you make of this matchup here? It feels like there's still something to play for here. 2-0 is not something that we've seen in the Champions League difficult to overcome.
Not really. The Champions League gives you always something to remember. We saw Barcelona even overturn a 4-0 deficit some years ago, which was very historical.
What was that, the PSG one?
Yes, PSG.
Oh, jeez, what a game!
I saw that game. I saw that game live myself. It was special. I will see a lot of that happen in the Champions League, so we cannot rule out that. However, I think that Inter are in a good place. Going away to win 2-0, it gives you gives you so much confidence. Coming to the San Siro, I mean, they cannot rest on their arse, but I think that they have the confidence going into this one. I will score 2 goals in Portugal. Benfica, I've had a good tournament. Unfortunately, against Inter, they couldn't bring their A game to the table. I hope they do tonight, but my money is on Inter to go through.
OMAAKATUGBA, Omar Katuba, UEFA journalist. Please go on social media and follow him. Thank you so much, Omar. I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that marketing. So
you've got soccer players playing UEFA Champions League hosting you, and I get to France, you're hosting me. You're hosting me, Omar. I appreciate it.
You are a star as well. I'm your fan, bro.
That's my good friend Omar, all the way out in France, but he's in Italy at the moment, making his way to the game. He always makes sure that he chats to us. Would have loved to have a longer conversation, and I see so many of you wanting to get in on that conversation. Let's take it through, the conversation about the DSTV Premiership, and put it onto social media and carry on with it. Faith, when last did you go to the stadium?
Whoa. I think it was before COVID. Yeah, 2019.
Are you a regular though?
No,
or are you a Derby girl?
I'm a Derby girl.
Oh,
I really am. No, but you know what? I want to learn. I want to do better. No, I've made a decision that I actually want to do better. I want to be able to support more than just Orlando Pirates, because Orlando Pirates breaks my heart all the time. But that's okay. I've decided that I want to learn how to support like Mamelodi Sundowns. I want to learn how to support like Swallows, Moroka Swallows. I want to learn how to support I just want to learn how to support Royal AM. I want to learn how to support. I'm terrible.
They're an exciting team to support. Hey, a lot happening in South Africa as per usual, politically and otherwise. You know, the big question, who's the Minister of Energy / Electricity? Who's in charge of what? Where do powers with what lie? A big conundrum that most of us are still waiting to hear the clarity on. But if you want clarity on matters between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, there's no better place anywhere on radio to get them than right here. What do you have going on?
Well, we've got lots in store for our show this evening. As per usual, we're going to be interrogating the criminal justice system in this country. And the question that we're posing, we even posed this one on our social media page, is that correctional services facilities, do they correct behavior, or do people come out of there being more criminals than they were when they first got in? And that's with the existence of gangs, with the numbers gangs, with the way in which correctional services facilities run. Are people rehabilitated effectively enough in correctional services facilities? Do they correct behavior? What is the effectiveness of correctional services facilities? We're going to be in it with the criminal law expert, advocate Tumi Masego is going to be joining us for this one. And then whilst, of course, the nation was focused on Thabo Besa, something else was also been happening on the sideline, and that is the Judicial Service Commission that is currently interviewing candidates for a range of positions in superior courts. And the question that we're posing today, and we're finding out today, how are judges appointed? What is the criteria of being a judge in South Africa? How long are you a judge in South Africa for? What do you preside over? How long can you stay a judge in South Africa? And what if a judge has been found to be dealing in nefarious activities? How long does it take before you actually suspend a judge? One such, a former a judge or suspended judge now, John Ncube, you know that he was a judge. Of course, that was even in one of the highest courts in the Western Cape. But what is the process of actually appointing a judge? And what jurisdiction does the president have in that regard? It's going to be an educational piece that we're going to find out about. Then we're also going to talk about insurance. I love it every time that we get to talk about stuff that helps people. Well, we've got the South African Insurance Association in conversation with us as well. We're learning all about how to claim, when to claim, and when not to claim. I love practical stuff, so we're going to be in conversation with Musidi Shumang just a little bit later on. And then a new kid in the blocks when politics is concerned is Rise Mzansi, officially announcing itself as a people-driven political alternative to failed political establishments. What do they mean by that? They're in studio with us this evening just to talk a little bit about it. I don't have to convince you to vote for them. They have to convince you to vote for them. So they're going to see how is it that they're going to stand for their votes and for your votes. After 8 o'clock, we're focusing on the Kingdom of Eswatini. We're going to look at this, what would be said to be the last monarchy which has got absolute power on the African continent. We are in conversation with Mandla Dlamini, who is in studio, Secretary of the External Region People's United Democratic Movement, also known as Pudemo. They're in studio with us, as well as Manqoba Nxumalo, who is Eswatini's Institute of Alternative Ideas. They're in studio as well. We're talking all things about the kingdom. Will the Swati monarch relinquish power for democracy?
They really should. What's happened in Swatini over the last year has been painful to watch, and be even more painful to watch the continent watch what happened to Swatini. I'm always with the people of Swatini. It's 3 after the hour 7. We've got to get out of here. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. From myself, Malcolm Dlovu, Timothy Maranda, and of course the genius Thabo Nkwala, and the amazing team that make sure that this show gets put onto Twitter Live, Facebook Live, and a little bit later on, please do go on YouTube to watch the entire show. That is what's happening. From myself, Andile, Ncube, and my entire team. Off to Sport at 10 now. You can watch that on SABC for the next little bit. Pela Ngantsomi.